Hey everybody, welcome into the Flippin Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star the Flippin Hippo. Today is October 21st and it is a Monday, which means it's time for What Sold on eBay on today's very special edition of What Sold on eBay in spite of the platform being broken when they rolled out new changes in the middle of Q4. Whose bright idea was that? I don't know. Let's just take a look at the packages that went out throughout the week. We did have sales in spite of everything else going on, and I think that it's because we have so many plush and remotes in our store now. We're rolling out the sales on hard goods. So I'll walk you through our Instagram photos and show you guys, how well we did as far as the amount of packages going out. You will see Posh carried a lot of the weight this past week. And then we'll jump over to my other window I have open to show you some of the items that sold. I'm going to show you all the plush that sold all week long. I'm also going to show you a good chunk of remotes that have been selling. If you didn't know, we recently bought a wholesale lot of remotes. In fact, we bought 3,000 remotes. So we're working on getting those in the store. And they started selling right away. From the first day that we started listing remotes, which was last Monday, we started selling 1 to 4 a day. Sometimes it's 1 a day, 2 or 3. Some days it's 4. They are selling consistently every single day, and we are very thankful for them as they keep moving along in spite of everything else going on and the glitches on eBay. And then, of course, we did sell some shoes and some other odds and ends and some clothes, but we'll jump over there and we'll look at that in just a second. We're going to start on Instagram just like we do every week, show you guys the photos of our packages. Last weekend was a really good weekend. Let's look at that first. Now, to be fair, that was a 3-day weekend because the post office is not open on Columbus Day. So to be fair, it was a 3-day weekend, so 37 packages is really okay. A 3-day weekend for us, we should really have around 40 or more. But we're just starting Q4, so I'm pretty happy with this. 12 of those were Poshmark, and that was pretty amazing. And then on Wednesday, we had 5. And I believe Wednesday was the first day we noticed the sizes missing on items. And Size-Mageddon was really upon us. And then Thursday, we had 7 packages, all eBay. And on Friday, we had 9, 7 eBay, and 2 on Poshmark. And then over this past weekend, we had 18 eBay sales, which is absolute and utterly crap, especially for Q4. That is bad for our store. To some of you, 18 sounds like a lot, and you would love it if you sold 18. So again, I have to reiterate to you guys, I say this all the time, it's relative. What your historical sell-through rate is going to depend on what type of items you're selling. Used clothing has, lower sell-through rate than plush. Electronics has a higher one. It's all going to depend on how often you're listing, if you're active, and how many listings you have. So for us, 18 on eBay over a weekend is poop. We should be at 30 to 40. So that's barely half of what we should be doing. And some people, 50 would be a bad weekend because they have 4, 5, 6,000 listings on eBay. So again, it's all relative. I don't want anyone to feel like if you sold 18 and you had 500 active listings, that's a bad weekend. No, for you that would be really good. But for us, 18 is not good. We should be at 30. We should really be at 40 or 50, being that it's Q4. So eBay was a little disappointing this weekend, and we did have 4 that we shipped out for Poshmark today. We have 5 more sales on Poshmark. So we had a total of 9 on Poshmark for the weekend, but one of the orders was a bulk order of 5 of our Christmas houses. They're pretty big and cumbersome, so we're going to be shipping those out probably Wednesday. We're going to take some time to package them up right and get the shipping done right because they clearly weigh more than 5 pounds if you're familiar with how Poshmark shipping works. But that's a total of 28 sales for the whole weekend. So even when you add in Posh, we're still not where we should be. Posh is picking up a lot of slack. Posh is making us a lot of money right now and kind of helping us out that now that eBay slowed down because of everything going on over there. But even with Poshmark added in, our sales aren't where they should be, especially for Q4. So just so you guys, you feel some solidarity. We're disappointed. This Q4 is not what it should be. We're not selling what we should be. A lot of sellers right now, their sales are down, especially for Q4. I don't know why they have to roll out stuff in Q4. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the item specifics, Armageddon. We're here to talk about what sold on eBay. So let's go over to the other window and start with this little tiny South Carolina bear. He was 50 cents at our local honeypot thrift, so he's old. That place has been closed for over a year and a half. But he was 50 cents when he first came home. He dropped off somehow for a while. We have been going through our inventory and reorganizing and just doing some stuff that we do every year around this time. And I did find him in a bag, and he wasn't listed, so up he went. I did accept the best offer of $8 on him, and he shipped first class in a poly bag. Next, we have this little Yokiro Taco Bell Chihuahua. Isn't he so cute? And he didn't talk anymore, so he was considered broken. He's considered damaged. He still talks when you squeeze him, but it's warbled and doesn't sound like it did when he was new. So I did disclose that, and I accepted a best offer of $8 on him as well. That's pretty good for a Taco Bell dog, especially one that doesn't talk. He shipped in a box, by the way. He went in a 4x4x4, a real small box, just to kind of protect him since he was an electronic plush. Here we have a Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Donatella head. And he was 50 cents at Goodwill. Not that big, about 8 inches. He sold for $9, and he shipped first class in a poly bag. Here we have a Nemo. Nemo, I sent an offer out for $9, and the buyer accepted. You can see that he has damage here. So if you watched our plush that sold on eBay video last week, I sold a Dory that was missing a fin, and now I have sold the Nemo with a damaged fin. So don't be afraid, you guys, to list your damaged plush and just disclose the damage and price accordingly. I knock a couple bucks off, anywhere from $2 to $5, depending on the damage, sometimes more. Again, it's depending on the damage, but they will sell. Electronic toys that no longer talk, toys missing fins, ripped, they will sell. So don't be afraid to list them if you get them home and you discover that something's amiss, or even if you find really good plush when you're outsourcing that is a bolo that normally goes for a really lot of money. Even if they have damage and the cost of goods is relatively cheap enough, go ahead and bring them home. You can just list them for a couple bucks less. Anyway, Nemo shipped first class in a poly bag. Next, we're going to look at this unicorn duck, 50 cents at Goodwill. He's so cute. We had a panda corn a while back. Now we have this duckacorn, unicorn duck. He sold overnight. So I listed him last week, and the next morning he had a watcher, so I sent out an offer of $10.50 and they accepted, and he sold overnight. So I would absolutely, you guys, keep a lookout for any of these animals that are unicorns, like the panda corn. He went for a little more. I think he went for like 18 if I remember correctly. But 50 cents into $10.50 overnight, you're not sitting on it. Usually plush is really long tail. I'll take that return on investment. And he shipped first class in a poly bag. Here we have a Beanie Babies Chinese Dragon. Kind of cute. He was 50 cents at the Goodwill. He sold for $12 and shipped first class in a poly bag. Here we have a talking Minnie dressed in a witch costume. She's been with us for a little over a year. We got her last year at yard sales in 2017 for 25 cents if I remember correctly. And she sat for a while and finally sold this Halloween season. And she sold for a best offer of $12. and she shipped first class in a little box just to protect her because she was a talking plush. This little sloth was 50 cents at the Goodwill. He's from the DreamWorks movie The Croods. He's very small, very tiny little plush. I think he weighed 1.5 ounces in his poly bag wrapped in tissue paper. So after he was wrapped in tissue paper, had a thank you card, and in a poly bag, he still didn't quite weigh 2 ounces. He was 50 cents, and he sold for the $14 full price. And he shipped first class. Reese's Monkey, 50 cents at the Goodwill. I picked him up because of what he is. He is official Reese's, as you can see from his tag there. He wasn't very big either. He was only 9 inches. And he sold for his full asking price of $18, shipped first class in a poly bag. Here we have a Lovey. This particular Lovey came from the Goodwill for 50 cents. And I accepted a best offer on him of $20. He shipped first class in a poly bag. Now we're going to look at some jeans here. We have a pair of Lucky Brand women's jeans. These are a brand I normally will get if I find them for 99 cents at the Goodwill on 99-cent day. If I found them half off for $2 or $3, I'd still pick them up. I would not say that Lucky Brand is a huge bolo anymore. It's not anything that you should be paying full price for. But if you find them for a couple bucks or less, they're a good bread and butter brand. This particular pair cost us 99 cents. And I did accept the best offer on them of $21. And they shipped in a padded flat. And also, yes, let me point this out real quick. They're button fly. So anytime you find Lucky Brands that have anything unique, also those I would say pick up. They'll sell a little bit faster and for a little bit more money than the other ones. Here we have a pair of Torrid jeans. These have not been around for very long at all. I sourced these the weekend that everyone was here for the meetup when we took Sydney, Bill, and David all over town to all the different Goodwills. Paid full price for these because they were Torrid with tags. So these were $6.99 and they sold for $35. Accepted a best offer of $35 and they shipped in a padded flat. These shoes came from the Goodwill. They were 99 cents. I picked them up not because of the brand, because Nine West is kind of meh. And you can see that on the bottoms, they're pretty worn. They have a lot of wear. But the shoes were super cute. They got like the snakeskin print going on and real pointy witchy toes. I have heard that high heels with these really pointy toes are something that does flip pretty fast. So I decided to try it out. 99 cents. What the hey. They sold for $37.50 and the buyer paid shipping on top of that. So I definitely did good in my learning process when I saw these and decided to try them for the 99 cents. I would definitely advise anytime you find shoes like this that are so unique, definitely grab them if you can find them for, a couple bucks or less. Even these brands like Nine West that aren't necessarily a super duper brand or one that's going to fetch a lot of money. Here we have a pair of clogs. These are from the yard sale. I got the clogs, the Danskos, and other pairs of shoes. I paid $100 for like 21 pairs of shoes at that yard sale. This is one of the last pairs of nursing shoes to stick around to finally go. I did accept the best offer on these of $22.50 and they paid the shipping on top of that. Both pairs of shoes did ship in shoe boxes. The priority shoe boxes you can order on the USPS website for free. Here's another pair of shoes sold. These came from the big shoe lot we bought from a reseller local to us that was going out of business. We met her at her storage unit and kind of cherry picked through her items. I came home with 20 pairs of shoes, I believe, maybe 25 pairs, and we paid her like $125 for all of them. came out to about $5 a piece. So this was a pair I cherry picked out of her storage unit, and they sold for $55, accepted a best offer of $55, and they paid shipping on top of that. These I did not ship in a shoebox because just the way the basket weaving waffle stuff is there, I didn't want them to be standing up and down in a box, so I put them in a top loader priority box so that they could rest like on a bed of tissue paper and bubble wrap, just to protect them because they were expensive shoes. This skirt, y'all, I don't even remember. I think it came out of the box. I believe it did. The box that keeps on giving. Longtime viewers know we bought a wholesale box back in July from a reseller going out of business. Every item in the box came out to like $2 and some change, and I do believe that's where this came from. When I first pulled it out, I didn't know what I had. Girls from Savoy. It was kind of like a real thick, weird material. The material of the skirt almost felt like that liner stuff that you put in your kitchen cupboards. That's what it felt like. That stuff you roll off the roll. Anyway, it is an Anthropologie brand, and the skirt sold for a best offer of $32. It did ship in a padded flat. It was very heavy. The material was very thick and stiff. Here we have a corset by Trip New York. If you watched my What Sold video last week, I showed you another item from this brand and told you guys this is an absolute bolo. Keep your eyes out for this. It's Trip with two P's. Trip New York. They have kind of goth, punky, like Punky Brewster. No, they have like punk, goth type of clothes. This corset had a lot going on as far as defects and damage. The straps were not connected by the buttons anymore. They were safety pinned on, which probably adds to the punk look, but I did disclose all the damage in the description, and it still sold for $30. It shipped first class. So this is definitely a brand that I would say always pick up when you find it. Even something like this with the damage went for $30. Probably would have went more for like $40 or $45 had it been in great shape. This was free. I didn't tell you where we got this from. This was free to us. It was given to us from Keith's sister. I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I don't know where this coat came from. This coat has been around for so long. I do not remember. I want to say Keith's grandmother gave it to us years ago to flip out of her own stash upstairs or something. If it came from a thrift store or a Goodwill, it would have been like 99 cents. But I feel like it came from Keith's grandmother for free. Anyway, it's been around for long enough that I can't even remember where it came from. I'm sure we all have items like that, right? Especially when you start dealing in high volume. Anyway, the coat sold for, I'm checking my notes here, $40. So we accepted a best offer of $40, and they paid for the shipping on it. It was up for like $47.50, but it's been around for so long, I was happy to take $40. Plus, they paid the shipping. Out the door it went, and it did ship in a priority large mailing box, like the ones I've shown you guys for the plush. And then we have a couple of Christmas items that are selling. This particular one, the swing for the Christmas Village, came from a box. We got it at a yard sale for, I think it was $5 for a box full of ornaments. The same day we bought a box from the same seller for $2 with full of Christmas mugs and other Christmas paraphernalia. So $7 for 2 boxes full. And we made our money back. I started listing them in July, Christmas in July. And the Hallmark ones sold really fast, really quick, paid for the whole lot. And now we're just profiting off of these little ones that are still selling out of there. I do tell you guys all the time, Christmas Village items are a bolo. Whether it's little pieces like this, or the huge houses that light up, or the trains, people love the Christmas Village stuff. This one sold for a best offer of $12, shipped first class in a little box. And then we sold one of our sets of lights on here. the Dickens Collectibles street lights for the Christmas Village. Just a couple weekends ago, right before everyone came in town for the meetup, when Sydney and Bill and Dave were here, and Holly and Dan, we hit up a yard sale where I bought a box full of Christmas houses, the light up ones, for $15. There were a bunch of them in there. I never did get around to showing them on a haul video, but I've been showing you guys them as they sell. We sold the wedding chapel. There's a bunch that sold on Poshmark, which I'll show when I do a what sold on Poshmark video. Anyway, it came out to like $1 per item in that lot. The woman was selling like her entire Christmas Village. And even like the little things like this sell for $20. So this sold for $19.69. When we sold the first piece out of the lot, the wedding chapel, some of you may remember seeing, that paid for everything plus like 20 some dollars profit. So everything's profit at this point. So you guys, my point is, the Christmas Village stuff is definitely a bolo. If you can find boxes full of it at yard sales when people are getting rid of it, you can get it for cheap. If you see someone with a bunch of them sitting out together, like 5, 10, 20 houses, walk up to them and tell them, I want all your houses. And they'll cut you a deal. See what they'll do for you. Start at like $2 a house. See what happens. They're definitely a bolo. They definitely flip really fast. And they definitely flip for good money. And they're not hard to list at all. Or photograph. Anyway, these lights shipped first class. And they went in a box. I believe it was an Amazon box we had lying around that just happened to be the right shape for them to go into. We also sold this leap pad. This came from a yard sale. It is a Sophia the First leap pad. And I believe Keith paid $5 for this, I want to say, at a yard sale. And it sold for $42.19. Shipped in a box. It did go priority, though. It was pretty heavy. Alright, now we're going to get into some of the remotes, you guys. I'm not going to talk too much about each remote. Remotes, period, in general, are a bolo. If you find them while you're out in the wild, you find them at estate sales, yard sales, church sales, thrift stores, and the cost of goods is what you can afford, or what you're willing to, spend to get your return on investment. Grab them up, snatch them up, get them all. Some are going to go for like $8, like this one here, and some are going to go upwards to $40 and $50. We haven't come across any of those yet. We have 3,000 remotes to go through. But you can see this Yamaha one here sold for $26.25. So if you're going to start getting into remotes and you're going to be looking for them while you're outsourcing, while you're getting used to them, I would recommend you to comp them before you spend your money on them. You don't want to see on my show here this one, oh, Star sold this Yamaha for $26.25, and you spend $5 to bring home a Phillips that sells for $8. So just familiarize yourself with them. Feel free to go through our solds. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of remotes in our solds. Our store is public. There's going to be a lot selling in there as we get these 3,000 remotes up and listed. You're more than welcome to go through there and see which brands and which models sell for how much money. I'll be showing them to you on our What Sold videos every week, just to keep everyone up to date on what's going on with the remotes and be completely transparent about them and honest about what they're selling for and how many are selling. The only thing is if we do list them on Amazon, I won't be able to share them with you because we do not share our Amazon store. But anything that sells on eBay, we'll show you. We'll talk about it. You guys can go through our solds and you can kind of learn that way what they're going to sell for. But I just wanted to show you. There's like a Phillips that sold for $8. An Apple. We sold 2 of this model. We had 2 of these that sold this weekend. Same exact remote and model. One sold for a best offer of $12 that we accepted, and the other one went for $13.12. They just bought it outright. We sold a Sony for $12. We sold a Toshiba for $13.12. Some of these might have been best offers. Let me see if I wrote anything down. Just the Apples. This Magnavox went for $14. This is an iClicker. This is not a remote, but it was in the box with the remotes. These are pretty cool, you guys. Students use them. They're called eye clickers. This one sold for $15. We sold an Onkyo audio system remote for $16. We sold this Bose. This is one we did accept the best offer of $16 on. This Bose remote. And the Yamaha for $26.25. So again, remotes are definitely a bolo. Just be sure that you learn the brands and the models so that you're not spending a whole lot of money on the ones that go lower, around $8 to $12. If you can find them in bulk like we did, that's great. But yeah, just keep an eye out for them. People overlook these all the time. They're a lot like plush. Remotes, as we start going through them and listing them in the store, they remind me a lot of plush. Because plush are like the same weight. They're really lightweight. They're super easy to ship. They're super easy to photograph and list once you get used to them and what you can price them for. And some plush go for $7 or $8, and some plush go for $50, $60, $80. So remotes are like plush to me. There's some that go for $8 and some that go for a lot more. You're better off the less you pay for them. But they're super fast and super easy to get listed. And, speaking of that, you guys don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, as we've seen this last week with the debacle, with the item specifics rolling out. People who have only used clothing in their stores or really heavy on used clothing, their sales came to almost a complete halt. And in some cases, some people sold nothing, absolute zero. So it's best to diversify yourself and start learning not only other items to flip, but other platforms. You want to spread your items out on different platforms. You want to have different items. So if you like to do clothes, start looking at shoes. Maybe get into plush. Maybe start looking at remotes or finding Christmas items to sell. But you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. I mean, the worst case scenario for anyone this past week would have been if you only had clothing and you were only on eBay. You can't rely on that. So definitely expand your horizons, guys. Get into other items. Look at other stuff. Start seeing where else you can list them and bringing in your multiple streams of income that I'm always telling you guys are a good idea to have. Let me know down in the comments below how your week was. I'm sure everyone's answer is going to be poop. It was poop because eBay loves to rake the platform in Q4. But I still want to hear from you guys. I'd love to hear from you. Hit the like button, the thumbs up before you guys leave. It really helps the channel. If you haven't already and you'd like to, please subscribe to our channel and help us feed a hungry hippo. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're at Flippin' Hippos on all social media. Don't forget to join our Facebook group, the Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod. A link to join that group is down in the description box below. Until next time, guys, have a wonderful night. Good luck in Q4. Keep your heads up, keep swimming, keep productive, and the sales will follow. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.